NBC7's Nightly Check-In is sponsored by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Flood and Restoration.
We know how.
After 14 years, the San Diego Padres are finally in the playoffs. Even though no fans were allowed at Petco Park because of COVID-19, there's still a lot of excitement about all of this. Thanks for joining us for the Nightly Check-In. I'm Catherine Garcia. Well, after so much anticipation, it was not the game Padres fans had been hoping for. The Padres lost Game 1 of the Wild Card Series against the Cardinals 7-4. It was pretty clear not having the Padres' two top pitchers available today, Mike Clevenger and Dinelson Lamet, made a big impact. They're both out with arm injuries. The Padres starting pitcher today was Chris Paddock, who gave up a lot of runs early on. A deflating start to the series, but Padres fans still managed to show their support despite not being allowed in the stands. A lot of them were in the Lexus lot, where the Padres hosted a drive-in watch party. Plenty of other fans were watching from East Village restaurants.
Sad we can't go. Love to be in there cheering them on.
It definitely sucks, but you still have to be a fan of the game. Just cheer them on from wherever you're at.
Businesses around Petco Park that would otherwise struggle on a Wednesday afternoon. Alex Rodriguez owns El Puerto Seafood by the park. He says he had to shut down 8 days before the Padres season was supposed to begin. If it was a normal year and the Padres were this good, he said his business would be booming. But he's still seeing the silver lining, and he's grateful for the fans who are coming in.
Oh man, it's crazy because these streets would be flooded right now even before the game, but it sucks that we can't be there to celebrate with them.
Game 2 of the 3-game series against the Cardinals begins at 2:08 p.m. tomorrow. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then consider adding our On Fryer podcast with Darnay Tripp and Derek Togerson to your podcast library. The guys will follow along with every game highlight during the Padres playoff run. Just search On Fryer on any podcast streaming platform. Well, scared today in Ramona, where a small vegetation fire broke out. With the triple-digit heat there and the winds, it was a recipe for disaster. More the low humidity, too. Crews did manage to get the situation under control thanks to a CAL FIRE air tanker with a precision retardant drop. A big relief for panicked residents who were told to leave their homes.
It was very close, really close, so close. Nobody wants to feel that. I'm still shaking. It's been quite a while.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation. This record heat wave increased the potential for that brush fire in Ramona to explode, of course. Let's check in with Dagmar with your First Alert forecast.
For your Thursday, continue to expect hot conditions pretty much all up and down the ridge lines, through the foothills, into the coastal zones, and also very low relative humidity. So hot and dry. The only good thing is we don't have much in the way of any winds that will create much of a Santa Ana push. You will still be in the upper 80s today along the coast. You'll be in the upper 90s in the inland valleys. Mountains also upper 80s, low 90s, and you are looking at about that low 100, 4, 5, 6, and 7 mark for the deserts. So the heat continues at the very least through Saturday. Today we're still dealing with the extreme or the excessive heat warning and the extreme heat, so keep that in mind if you're heading outdoors.
NBC7's Nightly Check-In is sponsored by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Flood and Restoration.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe. We know how.
Drains clogged or slow? Call Bill Howe today. Whether you need a routine drain cleaning or something more, Bill Howe can solve all your plumbing needs. For a limited time, we'll clear your drains for $82.
1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe. Because we know how.
Now to our latest local coronavirus numbers. Local health officials are reporting 195 new cases today out of more than 10,000 tests, making the positive rate 2%. 2 more San Diegans have died from COVID-19, bringing the total to 783 people since the pandemic began. San Diego State received a $5 million grant for rapid COVID-19 testing to underserved communities in San Diego. The university says the project, funded by the National Institutes of Health, aims to test 42,000 people in our region within the next 14 months. SDSU says the public health faculty will use data on new infections and testing access to decide where to prioritize those testing locations. Today, San Diegans, like many Americans, are trying to make sense of what they saw last night.
Mr. President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that.
That's what he's going to try to do. But
there is some disappointment and frustration in the lack of content in last night's debate. While the questions and topics certainly resonated with voters, the candidates' answers were muddied with insults, interruptions, and very few ideas that people could relate to, many viewers tell us. We heard Biden tell President Trump to shut up and call him a clown, but it was the president who seems to have come off more as the aggressor, analysts say. We caught up with people from different areas of town to get their thoughts.
There's ways that I think Biden could have rephrased to be a more understanding candidate, in that he is for law and order, but he's for laws that protect everybody and every type of demographic, including Black Lives Matter.
For me, as a person who is hopefully going to graduate college this year, I want to be able to be sure that there is a job for me and for people of my age group. And the vice president willingly admitted that he is going to raise corporate taxes and put more tax pressure on the already struggling small businesses.
The first vice presidential debate will be held Wednesday, October 7th, and the next presidential debate is scheduled for Thursday, October 15th. You can watch both of those on NBC7. That's going to do it for our nightly check-in. Have a good night.